Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your time for real this time? At this time, please place all electronic devices to vibrate. Madam Deputy Speaker, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the stated meeting of October 9th, 2025. I am Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, and I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you would like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website. On behalf of the body, I welcome the members of the public who have joined us today. During stated meetings, only members of the council may speak. Members of the public shall remain silent. If you wish to express your support of any remarks, you may make the silent approval gesture. I want to remind my colleagues that decorum is to be respected at all times. Insulting each other is not appropriate. All remarks are to be addressed to the chair, and members shall not speak unless recognized by the chair. It is essential that even if we disagree, we treat each other with respect.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Abreu,
Present.
Aviles,
Presente.
Ayala, Banks,
Present.
Present.
Botcher,
Present.
Brannon,
Here.
Brewer,
Here.
Brooks Powers,
Present.
Gavan,
Present.
Carr, De La Rosa,
Here.
Dinowitz,
Here.
Felder,
Here.
Feliz,
Here.
Gennaro,
Here.
Gutierrez, Hanif,
Here.
Hanks,
Present.
Holden,
Here.
Hudson,
Present.
Joseph,
Present.
Krishnan,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Lewis,
Present.
Marmorato,
Present.
Marte,
Present.
Mealy,
Present.
Menon,
Present.
Morano, Moya,
Present.
Narcisse,
Present.
Morano.
Here.
Thank you. Carr,
Present.
Nurse,
Present.
Osei,
Present.
Palladino, Powers,
Here.
Wrestler,
Here.
Riley, Salam,
Present.
Salamanca, Sanchez, Schulman,
Here.
Gutierrez,
Presente.
I'm sorry, Schulman,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Ung,
Present.
Riley,
Present.
Vernikov,
Here.
Williams,
Present.
One.
Here.
Zhuang.
Here.
Ariola.
Present.
Farias.
Present.
Speaker Adams.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by Reverend Stephanie Jagger of Trinity Lutheran Church, which is located at 309 St. Paul's Avenue in Staten Island.
Deputy Speaker, with your understanding, I first would like to thank City Council Member Camilla Hanks, who represents the beautiful and diverse District 49 on the North Shore of Staten Island, where I have the privilege to live and to serve as pastor of Trinity Lutheran Church. Trinity is a historical congregation, and we have long-standing commitments to address hunger, poverty, and more recently, work for the rights and dignity of immigrants in our city. I want to thank you, Council Member, personally, for this opportunity to give the invocation. It is a profound honor. And I want to thank all of you, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, all of the council members. And I also want to name the staff who are here. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your dedication and your persistence, what you show, all that you bring to build an ever better, ever more equitable, ever more livable city of New York. I want you to know that I see you, that the people of New York see you, and that our hearts are filled with gratitude. But more importantly than that, the divine sees you. The divine sees you and your work and seeks your well-being for the sake of the city you serve. It is an understatement to say you are serving in complex times. Times where you lead New York City, and where you who lead New York City and we who live in it are confronted with difficulties, with challenges beyond our imagination, conflict, disrespect, acts of intimidation and domination, disappearing financial resources, and now consequences of a federal shutdown. These pressures impact your lives. These pressures impact the lives of the most vulnerable in our beloved city. And these pressures, too, cause internal moral injury for all of us, as the values of community and country on which our families, past and present, have built our lives, now seem like shaky ground. It's in the face of these destabilizing pressures, the divine word that comes to me is the word spoken by the Hebrew prophet Habakkuk, who said in the face of similar times, and yet, there is still a vision for the appointed time. There is still a vision for the appointed time. Whatever may be happening around us, there is still a vision, the divine says. There is still a vision of beloved community where humanity overcomes inhumanity, where solidarity shatters the arrogant idol of domination, where mutual understanding and mutual regard dispel violence, where love of neighbor dismantles all hatred and all fear. Whatever rancorous forces may be challenging your well-being, the well-being of the city, our people, our souls, whatever may be challenging you in this moment, there is still a vision, the divine says. There is still a vision of a city that is good and that is just. Beloved city council members, you are the keepers of that divine vision. You are the stewards of the good and the just city that the people of New York hope for and are willing to work for alongside you. This afternoon, know you are not alone. You are not alone, and I ask you to hear my prayer and blessing in this season of challenge. May you feel the presence of the divine power. May you feel the divine power give you clarity of mind, strength of spirit, and a fortitude of body, so that you may continue to realize the divine vision for our city, the good city, the just city of New York. Amen.
Thank you, and with that, I would like to now ask Councilmember Camilla Hanks to spread the invocation on the record.
Today it is my honor to recognize a remarkable faith leader and in service in Reverend Dr. Stephanie Yeager, for pastor of Trinity Lutheran Church in Stapleton, my hometown and my home church that I went to as a child. Founded in 1856, Trinity stands as one of the Staten Island's oldest congregations. Under Pastor Yeager's leadership, it continues to serve as a steadfast beacon of compassion, creativity, and community. Through her ministry, Pastor Yeager has reimagined what it means for a church to be part of a civic fabric of our borough. Trinity Lutheran is not only a place of worship, but a hub for the arts, education, and social justice, where the hungry are fed, the marginalized are welcomed, and we are called to live with dignity and purpose. Her work extends beyond the pulpit through initiatives that strengthen our neighborhoods, foster dialogue, and bring people together in a shared humanity. We are grateful for Pastor Yeager's enduring commitment to the people of Staten Island and for reminding us that through today's invocation and the power of compassion and courage and faith in action, I moved for unanimous consent to spread this invocation in full. Thank you, Deputy Speaker Ayala.
Thank you. We will now ask Councilmember Crystal Hudson for the adoption of minutes.
I make a motion that the minutes of the stated meeting of September 25th, 2025 be adopted as printed.
Messages and papers from the mayor.
None.
Communications from city, county, and borough offices.
None.
Petitions and communications.
None.
Land use call-ups.
None.
Thank you. We will now have communication from Speaker Adrienne Adams.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and good afternoon, everyone. On Tuesday, we remember the survivors and victims of the horrific October 7th attacks on Israel by Hamas. The horrific events of that day and those that followed have brought immense pain and grief that continues to reverberate throughout our diverse communities here in New York City. After a devastating number of months, I am heartened by the reports of an emerging peace deal that can bring an end to the violence for Palestinians and Israelis, and the return of the hostages. We cannot become numb to such violence, and we must continue to insist that peace is possible, recognizing our shared humanity to work towards a future where all of us are safe. October 5th was World Teachers' Day. Teachers are some of the most important figures in our children's lives, responsible for their education and development. Their contributions to our society are vast, and we must continue to support this critical workforce with the resources they need. October 11th is National Coming Out Day, which was first observed in 1988 in support of our LGBTQIA+ communities. It celebrates coming out as an act of liberation that confronts silence and ignorance and combats homophobia. Visibility is critical, and that's why we stand with our LGBTQIA+ communities. October 13th is Indigenous Peoples Day, when we recognize the culture, knowledge, and contributions that Indigenous people have made throughout history and continue to do today. On this day, we also celebrate our city's Italian communities and their contributions. Earlier this week, The council hosted its annual Italian Heritage Month celebration right here in council chambers. We thank everyone who participated. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a time when we uplift survivors of domestic violence. Here in New York City, thousands of domestic violence cases are reported each year, yet we know there is an undercount due to the trauma and stigma associated with domestic violence, resulting in survivors living in fear and silence. I am so proud of the work this council has done to prioritize meeting the needs of survivors. We must all continue our work together to end gender-based violence and advance solutions that keep survivors safe and help them recover. For all those celebrating Sukkot this week, I wish you all a Chag Sukkot Sameach. Next, I want to take a moment to recognize Beckett Saidi, a 16-year-old scholar from Carroll Gardens, who built, get this. Now, I just told you Beckett was 16, right? Colleagues, Beckett built a free tool called Realer Estate. Get it? Realer Estate, to help New Yorkers find rent-stabilized apartments. 16 years old. I'm so impressed with Beckett and his commitment to helping fellow New Yorkers secure affordable housing. Beckett, where are you? Stand up, Beckett. Oh, he's up there. We need more of you, and we're thankful and grateful for you. Thank you, Beckett. Now I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Councilmember Julie Menin, whose birthday was on the 6th. Councilmember Bob Holden, whose birthday is on the 12th. And Councilmember Justin Brannan, who will be 21 again on the 14th. Finally, we send love and congratulations to our very own Councilmember Oswald Felice, who welcomed baby Matthew. Congratulations. Now let's move on to our stated agenda. Arvone East UDAP amendment and Article 11 would amend a previously approved HPD development composed of 11 buildings and approximately 1,320 affordable homes to increase home ownership units and provide real property tax exemption to both home ownership and rental units in Majority Whip Brooks Powers District. Station Plaza Jamaica city map change would facilitate the construction of 2 pedestrian plazas in downtown Jamaica as part of the Station Plaza Enhancement Project in Councilmember Williams' district. Claremont House, 1640 Anthony Avenue, would facilitate the development of a new 13-story building with 65 affordable home ownership units in Councilmember Felice's district. 535 Morgan Avenue rezoning would facilitate the opening of a supermarket in a vacant 1-story retail building in Councilmember Gutierrez's district. Next, we'll vote on the following finance item. A pre-considered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan would establish a new partial 40-year Article 11 tax exemption for an 80-unit project in Councilmember Salamanca's district. Next, we'll vote on the following items on the Committee on Rules, Privileges, and Elections. Resolution 1050A would amend the rules of the Council to improve clarity and consistency with Council practices and precedent. And Resolution 1099 would make changes to chairs and membership of certain committees of the Council. We thank our staff, Jeff Campagna. Next, we'll vote on the following legislation. Introduction 1122A, sponsored by Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez, would require the Office of Technology and Innovation to develop and publish on its website an internet master plan for the city to improve access to broadband internet in homes throughout the city. We thank our staff members, Irene Byhovsky and Eric Brown. Introduction 928B, sponsored by Councilmember Sandy Nurse, would require the Department of Transportation, in consultation with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, the Department of Environmental Protection, and the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, to conduct a pilot project on the use of cool pavement. Thank you to our staff member, Mark Chen. Introduction 1265A, sponsored by Councilmember Pierina Anna Sanchez, would require the Housing Connect portal for affordable housing lotteries to provide users with notification by email and text of updates to their applications. Additionally, the bill would permit a user to designate a representative who would receive notifications on their behalf. We thank our staff members Keith Felsenfeld, Austin Malone, William Eck, Jose Conde, and Dirk Spencer. Next, introduction 925A, sponsored by Councilmember Farrell Lewis, would require biennial inspections of steam radiators located in apartments where a child under 6 lives. If an inspection reveals a defect or damage to a steam radiator, the building owner would be required to correct it within 14 days. Any condition considered hazardous to life or safety would require the building owner to remove the steam radiator from service within 24 hours of the inspection and repair or replace the steam radiator within 7 days. I want to take a moment, colleagues, to acknowledge the family, the Karofsky family who are here with us today, seated right here. They lost their baby boy 2 years ago from injuries from a malfunctioning steam radiator. And as I said earlier, my heart is with you. Our hearts are with you. Benjamin Zachariah should still be here with us today, but I do thank you for your courage and commitment to ensuring the safety of countless New Yorkers, particularly the children. We thank our staff members, Rachel Conte, Austin Malone, William Eck, Jose Conde, and Dirk Spencer. Introduction 1208A, also sponsored by Councilmember Gutierrez, would require the Commissioner of Social Services and the Commissioner of Housing Preservation and Development to issue a biannual report on the availability of air conditioning in homeless shelters. Thank you to our staff members, Aminta Kilawan and Penina Rosenberg. Introduction 1232A, sponsored by Councilmember Chris Banks, would require the Human Services Administration to make available as a part of the application for emergency assistance, grants for rental assistance, processes by which applicants may authorize HRA to send a text or an email notification to the applicant or the building owner or a managing agent designated by the building owner upon the approval of the application. We thank our staff members Aminta Kilawan and Alejandro Carvajal. Introduction 1372, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, would require that the rent contribution for City FEPS recipients not exceed 30% of the household's total monthly income, regardless of whether the household receives public assistance or has earned income. We thank our staff members, Christina Yelamati, Aminta Kilawan, Penina Rosenberg, and Justin Campos. Next, we'll vote on 2 bills that build on our efforts to improve wage transparency and pay equity in our city. Introduction 982A, sponsored by Councilmember Tiffany Caban, would require private employers with more than 200 employees working in the city to submit a pay data report to an agency designated by the mayor to improve wage transparency. Introduction 984A, sponsored by Majority Leader Amanda Farias, would require a designated agency in coordination with the Commission on Gender Equity and other relevant agencies to conduct an annual pay equity study on private employers with 200 or more employees. The study would use the pay data submitted by employers to evaluate whether there are disparities in compensation based on gender and race or ethnicity. We thank our staff members Sarah Swain and Rachel Cordero. Introduction 1390A, sponsored by Councilmember Lynn Schulman, would amend the New York City's cooling tower testing requirements by requiring building owners to test for the presence of microbes in at least every month during periods of the year when cooling towers are in use. This bill is being passed after the city experienced its worst Legionnaires' outbreak in a decade this summer, which resulted in 7 deaths and 90 people hospitalized. Thank you to our staff members, Christopher Pepe and Sarah Liz. Lastly, we'll vote on several pieces of legislation that will reform the city's nonprofit contracting and payment processes. For too long, the city has failed to pay nonprofit organizations with city contracts to deliver services in a timely manner. These long-standing issues have resulted in service interruptions, organizations accruing debt, layoffs, and even organizations shutting down altogether. In my State of the City address this year, I announced a series of proposals to improve this process and support the stability of nonprofit organizations. I'm proud of these major reforms that will help nonprofits focus on delivering the services that New Yorkers rely on them for. Introduction 1249A, sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan, would require all human services agencies to submit annual reports on contract registration during the previous fiscal year. An agency would be required to submit a corrective action plan if it registered 250 or more contracts or contracts valued at over $25 million in the previous fiscal year and more than half of its contracts or contract value were registered 90 days or more after their start dates. We thank our staff members, Alex Polinoff and Rachel Cordero. Introduction 1248B, sponsored by myself, would establish an Office of Contract Services, the head of which would be the Director of Contract Services, who would serve as the City Chief Procurement Officer. The office would have the authority to coordinate citywide procurement activities for mayoral agencies, including reviewing contract guidelines, conducting pre-audit and post-audit reviews of contracts, and providing training and technical assistance on procurement matters. And Introduction 1247B, sponsored by myself and Councilmember Julie Won, would require immediate advance payment of 50% of the value of a nonprofit's contract with the city as an advance upon registration by the comptroller. The bill excludes emergency contracts, specific contracts processed by the Department of Homeless Services for temporary housing assistance, and any contracts processed by the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, and residential foster care and emergency domestic violence contracts. We thank our staff members, Alex Polinoff, Rachel Cordero, and Nicholas Connell. Thank you very much for your attention. I turn it back over to our Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker Adams. We will now move into discussion of general orders, and we will be calling on Councilmember Lewis, followed by Caban and Banks.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues. Today, the Council has the opportunity to pass legislation that will save lives and ensure that no family endures a preventable tragedy in their home. It is beyond time for our city to stop turning a blind eye to the crisis, steam radiators. The devastating tragedies and significant life-changing injuries caused by steam radiators remind us that no family, like the Kowalski family from Brooklyn or Alex Pacheco and the Ambrose sisters from the Bronx, should ever have to face such pain because of unexpected or unsafe heating systems. Intro 925 mandates the inspection and repair of steam radiators in apartments and buildings across our city. This is a vital measure to protect our most vulnerable children and strengthen housing safety and to hold landlords accountable. The city already requires inspections of lead paint, window guards for apartment buildings, so it is beyond time for steam radiators to be included in the housing maintenance code. With numerous incidents of radiator explosions and malfunctions spanning all the way back to the 1930s, it is time to implement inspections of this harmful risk in our aging housing stock. I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of Intro 925, and it is our duty and obligation to protect all New York residents, no matter where they live. I want to thank the Kowalski family for their steadfast advocacy, Committee Counsel Austin Malone, and my staff Daniel Heredia for their hard work on this legislation. Thank you.
Councilmember Caban.
Thank you. Injustice persists when it's allowed to hide in the shadows, and with our pay equity package, we're pulling back the curtain. Yesterday was Latina Equal Pay Day, marking how far into the year Latina workers must work to earn what white non-Hispanic men made last year. Nationally, Latinas earn just 57 cents on the dollar. So the Caban-Farias pay equity package directly tackles these inequities. By requiring large employers to report pay data and mandating vigorous analysis, we're giving policymakers the tools to close wage gaps at their root. I'm deeply grateful to Majority Leader Amanda Farias, POW New York, Legal Momentum, and all the advocates who helped make this possible. And I'm grateful today to be supporting the passage of baby Binyamin's law, because every New Yorker should be safe in their home. To Binyamin's family, to Alex and Bessie, thank you again for turning your son's legacy into safety for every child in New York. You have done a very heroic thing. Our job as council is to protect New Yorkers, and today we are doing just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Banks.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. I'm happy to speak in support of my bill, Intro 1232, which required the Human Resource Administration to send automated text or email notifications when an application for emergency assistance grant program related to rental assistance is approved. These notifications would go to both the tenant and the building owner or management agent, providing key details such as the approved grant amount, estimated issuance date, and the payment method. In my district, HRA-related issues make up a large number of these cases that my office handles. Time and time again, we've seen both tenants and property managers left in the dark, unsure if aid has been approved or when payment is coming. This bill addresses the communication gap, ensuring that no family loses their homes simply because no one knew help was already on the way. I thank my colleagues for their support, and we urge my colleagues to support Intro 1232, and also want to thank my staff and the dedication for helping bring this across the finish line, and also want to acknowledge Alejandro, Sarah, and all the legislative division, central staff, and all the contributions to help shape Intro 1232 into this thoughtful, common sense piece of legislation today. Thank you.
We will now hear from Councilmember Sanchez, followed by Gutierrez.
Thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. I also want to start with thanking Alex and Bessie for turning your pain into purpose that is going to save lives across the city of New York. And thank you to Councilmember Lewis for your fierce advocacy of Intro 925, and to our speaker for shepherding it forward, especially as I think we both have a child that is about 10 months old, 8. You know, we see the pictures of Benjamin, and we imagine our current babies. And so I just want to thank you for getting us here today. Today we're also passing Intro 1265, which will begin to address some of the deep frustrations that New Yorkers have with Housing Connect, the city's affordable housing lottery platform. Citywide, our housing lottery receives just about 670 applications for every single unit of housing listed, and just one lease is issued for every 1,000 applications that are submitted. Every day in my district, we serve dozens of these applicants, our neighbors who are desperate to find an apartment. But the technology that our city uses to get people into affordable housing has made it harder, not easier, for New Yorkers to find an apartment that meets their need. Applicants today are inundated with too much information, like housing that they're not eligible for. They're given false hope. 40% of all applications are flagged as ineligible. And supportive community-based organizations are not equipped with the tools that they need to support applicants. So Intro 1265 will limit the tsunami of unnecessary and misleading information that applicants receive. It will flag important actions by email and text, and it will create a new representative role to ensure that those with limited technological proficiency do not miss important actions and deadlines when applying for affordable housing. Finally, it will require HPD to solicit feedback from organizations that are doing the work on the ground so that we can continue to improve Housing Connect. Intro 1265 is a special shout out to UNHP and my staff. Thank you, Madam Deputy.
Thank you. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I would like to also express my support and congratulations to Councilmember Lewis, and my condolences to your family for passing this important legislation. Thank you. Today we are correcting yet another costly mistake of Mayor Eric Adams. The Internet Master Plan, developed by lots of experts, advocates, and celebrated globally, was unceremoniously abandoned by the Adams administration. But in its place, we got a short-term program with no vision, no permanence, and no accountability. We lost 4 years of potential progress and spent over $100 million without delivering permanent solutions. Broadband is one of the reasons I was excited to chair this committee, and the Internet Master Plan has been a key pillar of my tenure as chair. This legislation resurrects the Internet Master Plan and requires the city to set clear timelines, provide public reporting, and prioritize community-driven infrastructure, not just for the big players. Broadband is no longer a luxury. It is the foundation over almost everything. Passing this bill means New York City can once again lead, not lag, in building equitable, reliable, and affordable internet access. I'm also honored to pass legislation pushed by Deputy Speaker Ayala that addresses extreme heats in our shelter system. For tens of thousands of New Yorkers, families, children, and seniors, a heat wave should never become a death sentence. Yet today we don't have a clear picture of how shelters are equipped to provide relief to so many of its tenants. Intro 1208 requires the city to report twice a year on the availability and functionality of AC in shelters, to notify council members of those outages, and conduct a one-time assessment of the cost to make sure that every shelter can keep residents safe. This is about dignified housing, it's about communication, and I'm really proud to be passing this bill, and it's the first step towards ensuring that every New Yorker in a shelter is protected from extreme heat. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of special committees.
None.
Report of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Civil and Human Rights. Intros 982A and 984A, pay data reporting and pay equity.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Contracts, intros 1247B and 1249A, contract awards and agency action plans.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 1248B, Office of Contract Services.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Finance, preconsidered LU 404 and Reso 1089, tax exemption.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on General Welfare, intro 1208A, homeless shelter air conditioning.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 1232A, emergency assistance grant approvals.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 1372, rental assistance vouchers.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Health, intro 1390A, air cooling towers.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Housing and Buildings, intro 925A, steam radiators.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 1265A, city housing portal.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Land Use, LU 365 and Reso 1090 through LU 367 and Reso 1092, Claremont House.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 369 through LU 371, Jamaica Neighborhood Plan.
Approved with modifications and referred to the City Planning Commission pursuant to Section 197 of the New York City Charter.
LU 372 and Reso 1093 through LU 396 and Reso 1098, various applications.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Rules, Privileges, and Elections, Reso 1058A, Rules Amendments.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Reso 1099, Committee Changes.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Technology, Intro 1122A, Broadband Internet Access.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Intro 928B, Pilot Project on Cool Pavement.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
General Orders Calendar, Resolution appointing various persons, Commissioner of Deeds.
Coupled on general orders, I now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Narcisse.
I vote aye
Thank you.
on all.
Thank you, Councilmember. Salamanca. Salamanca. Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Moya. Councilmember Moya.
I vote aye.
Thank you, sir. Vernikov.
Aye and all except no on intros 1372A, 982A, and 984A.
Thank you. Gutierrez.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Abreu.
Aye.
Aviles.
Aye.
Ayala.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Botcher.
Aye.
Thank you. One moment. Brennan.
Aye on all.
Brewer.
I vote aye. I don't want to state that I have to leave, so I'd like to vote yes on all general orders. I also want to speak out of turn and say that the entire city mourns the loss of Saul Zabar. Thank you very much.
Brooks Powers.
Aye on all.
Caban.
Aye on all.
Carr.
No on introductions 982A, 984A, and 1372, and aye on the rest, and happy Columbus Day to all.
Thank you. De La Rosa.
Aye.
Thank you. Dinowitz.
Aye.
Felder.
Aye.
Feliz.
Permission to explain my vote.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The benefits of homeownership opportunities are countless and well documented. Homeownership opportunities provide residents with a path to building equity, achieving stable housing, achieving economic stability, and so much more. Despite these benefits, for too long, too many families in the Bronx haven't been able to achieve these benefits due to a lack of homeownership opportunities in the borough, a borough that has some of the lowest homeownership rates in the entire city. The Claremont Housing Homeownership Project tackles this issue directly with almost 70 brand new homeownership units, so I encourage everybody to vote yes, and I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Hanks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gennaro, we got you. Holden.
Aye on all except intros 982A and 1372A, of which I vote no.
Thank you. Hudson.
Aye on all.
Joseph.
Aye on all.
Krishnan.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye on all.
Mamarato.
I vote aye on all with the exception of intro 1372A, intro 982A, intro 984A, and reso 1058A. I vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Marte.
I vote aye on all except reso 1058A, which I vote no.
Mealy.
I vote no on reso 10858A, reso intro 982A and 984A, and I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Menon.
Aye on all.
Morano.
Permission to explain my vote?
Granted.
Thank you. I wanted to speak today, not in anger, but with a sense of duty and maybe a touch of Staten Island skepticism. This package, the rules package before us, may have started with good intentions, but lands in a place that makes this council, in my view, less democratic and not more democratic. It centralizes power at the top and takes it away from the 51 of us who were each elected to represent 51 very different districts. Under these rules, individual members will have less freedom to introduce and advance legislation, less ability to bring their constituents' concerns to the floor, and less time to make their case publicly. The people who sent us here didn't elect a bureaucracy, they elected a voice. These rules make it harder for that voice to be heard. And let's be honest, the input of the Republican members, and I'd argue several Democratic members as well, wasn't sought in any meaningful way in crafting these changes. I think that's a missed opportunity. We all serve the same city, and good rules should be built on broad consensus, not speed or convenience. Most importantly, a number of the votes that will decide this matter today are from members who won't even be here in January. With all respect, I don't think a group that's about to leave should be locking in the procedures that the next council will have to live under for the next 4 years. Thomas Jefferson once said, "The earth belongs to the living, not to the dead. No generation," he warned, "has the right to bind future generations to its own rules." That's good advice for legislatures too. So while I appreciate the effort that went into this, I'll be voting no, not out of partisanship, but out of principle, because I believe the next council deserves the right to write its own rules. Thank you. With that, I vote no on Reso 1058, Intro 982A, 984A, and 1372A, and the aye on all the rest.
Thank you. Nurse.
I vote aye on all.
Osei.
I vote aye on all.
Palladino.
Cheers to you, Frank Morano. I vote no on 982A, 984A, 1372A, and Reso 1058A. Again, kudos to you, council member. Morano.
Thank you, Councilman. Powers.
Aye on all.
Wrestler.
Aye on all, and I just want to especially congratulate Councilmember Lewis on her legislation today.
Riley.
I don't know, and I want to congratulate the Speaker, Councilmember Williams, and Councilmember Gennaro on their neighborhood plan that they're going to be having approved today.
Salam.
I vote aye on all.
Salamanca. Sanchez.
Aye.
Thank you. Schulman.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
Thank you. I'm very proud today to pass my bill 1390A to help to prevent Legionnaire's disease, especially in warmer weather, and it's something that's going to hold building owners very more accountable than they are now, and increase inspections and maintenance. So I'm very proud of that. I want to thank everybody for their support on this, particularly the Speaker. I also want to congratulate Farrah Lewis on her legislation. And I want to congratulate the Speaker and Natasha Williams on the development in Jamaica, which is phenomenal and has been years in the making. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Stevens.
Aye on all except for 1058A, which I vote no.
Ung.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Williams.
I vote aye on all.
1.
Aye on all.
Zhuang.
I vote aye on all except Resolution 1058A. I want to vote no.
Thank you. Ariola.
I vote no on intros 982A, 984A, 1372A, and Resolution 1058A. Aye on all the rest.
Speaker Adams.
I vote aye on all.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted with 49 in the affirmative, 0 negative, 0 abstentions, with the exception of intro 982A, which was adopted by a vote of 41 affirmative, 8 negative, and 0 abstentions, and intro 984A, which was adopted by a vote of 42 affirmative, 7 negative, and 0 abstentions. Intro 1372, which was adopted by a vote of 42 in the affirmative, 7 in negative, and 0 abstentions. And Resolution 1058A, which was adopted by a vote of 41 affirmative, 8 negative, and 0 abstentions. Introduction of reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committee as indicated on today's agenda.
There are no items on today's resolution calendar, so we will now move on to general discussion. We're starting with Councilmember Caban, followed by Councilmember Ressler, and then Stevens.
Thank you. Rikers Island is a human rights disaster. It is unfathomably and unacceptably the largest mental health provider in New York City, and a place where too many of our neighbors have died waiting for care, not justice. New Yorkers are already disappear inside of those walls, and so it cannot also become a deportation machine. That's why I'm introducing legislation to keep ICE and federal agents from setting up offices in New York City jails to target immigrants and undermine our sanctuary city. New York City must not cooperate with these modern-day masked stormtroopers who terrorize our communities. Let's be clear. ICE beats up seniors. ICE separates children from their parents. ICE shackles pregnant mothers. They deport journalists. They ignore judges, and they defile our democracy. And we cannot allow their viciousness to take root inside of our own facilities with our city's blessing. Our job as council is to protect New Yorkers, so I'm calling on my colleagues, let's keep ICE off of Rikers, out of our jails, and away from our communities. Hands off New York. Thank you.
Councilmember Ressler.
Thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. I firstly just want to note that there are news reports that our Attorney General has been indicted. This is a baseless, preposterous, disgraceful politicization of our justice system. We all know Letitia James as a former council member, serving here in this body as our public advocate and now as our distinguished Attorney General. And she has been a proud fighter for dignity and justice for the decades that I have known her. I am proud to stand by Tish yesterday, today, tomorrow, and always. Unrelated, I'm introducing a bill today about outdoor dining. I like outdoor dining a lot. I hope you all do too. Unfortunately, we've seen the number of restaurants that participate in outdoor dining has declined quite precipitously in the last few years. We were at nearly 8,000 during the pandemic. Today, we're at well under 1,500. And so we're introducing legislation to bring this program back as a year-round initiative. We make it easier for businesses to participate. We expand the frontage that businesses can take advantage of, and a variety of other reforms to simplify, improve, and most of all, increase participation in outdoor dining. I'm grateful to the folks who are co-prime sponsoring this legislation with me today and hope that this is something that we can push into law in the months to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Stevens.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Today I'm proud to introduce two pieces of legislation that reflects our commitment to transparency, safety, and equality across New York City. The first bill is 1423, requiring the Department of Transportation to provide a public inventory of all city-owned retaining walls under its jurisdiction. Retaining walls is a critical part of our city's infrastructure. When there is neglect or poor maintenance, as a result, the result can be dangerous for families and communities. By requiring the DOT to track and share this information publicly, we're ensuring that our residents have the right to know the conditions of the space they live near, and the maintenance isn't just reactive, but proactive. The second piece of legislation, 1424, I'm introducing alongside my colleagues in the Hood Caucus, Councilmember Riley and Councilmember Williams. This bill will prohibit the denial of criminal victim services to individuals based on the perceived notion of a gang affiliation. Far too often, victims of violence, particularly young Black and brown men and their families, are denied care, support, or counseling because of how they're labeled. But trauma doesn't discriminate, and neither should our services. We can't claim a value public safety while deciding who deserves healing from our city. I urge my colleagues to sign on both pieces of legislation as we continue to reimagine public safety in our city and protect our communities who often are pushed into the margins. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Zhang.
Thank you. I'm proud to introduce Intro 1425, Safer Parks for NYC. Every day, probably a lot of my colleagues also get complaints from constituents. Actually, in my district, I see weapons in my district parks, mopeds running around in the parks, even dirt bikes almost hit seniors and children. I spoke to local policing almost every single day, and fortunately, I'm able to get some patrolling in my parks. But what shocked me the most, this summer, only 4 park enforcement patrol officers were covered all of Brooklyn. PAP officers are peace officers. They don't carry weapons, but they are there to prevent crime. Did you know they also oversee the free programs in our parks? As far as we know, we don't have enough PAP and park rangers to cover all of our parks. Probably not even enough half of our parks. This bill will require Parks Department to give us quarterly updates on how many PAP officers and rangers are on the staff, where they are assigned to, and why. This kind of information is the information our City Council needs to make better choice for our communities. Thanks to Councilmember Shekhar Krishna for co-sponsoring this bill, and I want to thank local DC 37 workers here today, and also Vice President of Local 983, Rafael Basilis, and the President of Local 983, Joe Polio, Senior Legislative Counsel Chris Sartori, Policy Director of my team, Caitlin Orick, and all the constituents who rallied to support this bill. And I urge my colleagues to sign on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Abreu, followed by Councilmember Morano, and then Hanif.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I've known Saul Zabar for as long as I can remember. Most of my immediate family works for Zabar's, and my mom's office was across from Saul's for over 20 years. Thanks to that, I got to know Saul very well. I loved him, and I loved everything he represented. He was a person with exacting standards, deep generosity, and a real commitment to our community. He shaped the Upper West Side like no one else, and we'll always be grateful to him for it. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Morano.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. When I hosted a radio show, there were a few topics I learned to approach with extreme caution: religion, politics, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So today, I guess I'm hitting the trifecta. It's one of those subjects where people's feelings run so deep that honest dialogue often turns into a debate club championship. But every now and then, something happens that deserves recognition no matter where you stand. And today is one of those moments. For the first time in a long while, there's a real chance that hostages will be coming home and that innocent civilians, both Israeli and Palestinian, will be spared more heartbreak. Now, I realize that praising President Trump in this chamber may not win me many lunch invitations, but facts are facts. His persistence, his energy, and his unrelenting belief that the art of the deal applies even in the hardest places on earth have helped bring about the first phase of a ceasefire that could save lives. We don't know yet if this will hold, and there's still much to be done, but by any fair measure, this is progress, and progress is something worth celebrating. So rather than argue about politics or prizes, maybe we can all agree on this, that anytime people stop shooting and start talking, the world takes a small step towards sanity, and in today's world, that alone feels like a miracle. So for every child, every person, that's one step farther away from danger. For every family that's spared, I think that's a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hanif.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I also want to acknowledge Alex and Bessie Kurofsky, who I met 2 years ago. I am just blown away by how you both channeled your pain and anger into advocacy and fought for your son, and you're fighting for every child and every New Yorker who is susceptible to a tragedy like this. And from now on, the inspections will definitely allow us to detect faults earlier. The weekend before last, our sky was overrun by people taking luxury helicopter rides to the Ryder Cup. Our office received hundreds of calls and emails describing how everything from nap time to work calls were impossible due to the incessant sound of choppers. I want to say on the record that this is unacceptable. Shame on the companies and the agencies responsible. Councilmember Ressler and I sent a letter with Assemblymember Simon and State Senator Gennardis to the EDC urging accountability and safeguards to prevent a repeat of this disruption. New Yorkers deserve peaceful skies, not constant noise pollution for someone's weekend leisure. It's time to end non-essential helicopter flights. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now call on Speaker Adrienne Adams to close today's stated meeting.
I would love to, Deputy Speaker. Thank you. The stated meeting of October 9th, 2025 is hereby adjourned.